Well, if you guys are big fans of Stardom, you guys are always on the right channel. So, as you probably know, during the weekend, they had some interesting shows. The first one we're going to be reviewing, of course, is from Osaka from this past Saturday, and the much recent one in Kobe. Now, some matches are preliminary matches and all this other stuff, so we're going to go from A to Z on both of them, see how things will progress, but we may have a upcoming title match involved with one of them. So I'll explain to you guys on that too. Then, of course, as always, we'll wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Leaded Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Leaded Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is the channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got to do Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers. Let's get to it. So, as I said before, it's all about Stardom. So let's begin with their show in Osaka. Okay, Stardom in Osaka. This is their much recent event on the 21st of February. And it was at the EDION Arena Osaka number 2. Of course, this is one of those venues they often do when it's not one of their bigger events. It opened up with a 6-woman tag match. We have God's Eye consistent of Rana Yagami, Lady C, and Hina. They take on Neo Genesis' very own Azumi, Mei Seira, and Starlight Kid. Now, obviously, there's no storyline, but the match was pretty good. Not to mention, there is a bit of the high speed standard, but also interesting to know because those who don't remember, Lady C and Hina used to be Queen's Quest, and they're standing right across from Azumi, another former member of Queen's Quest. So that's kind of interesting, but I'm sure that they know each other's strengths and weaknesses. But unfortunately, that didn't do any help because Lady C unfortunately ended up on the wrong side of the Azumi sushi by Azumi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she was done. Now, our next match, we have Mi Vida Loca, consistent of Akira Kurigani, Izuki Aoki, and Rina Yamashita. Now, keep in mind, Suzuki is out due to an injury, and so is, of course, Bozilla, who has a very much uh, bigger injury than her, which is the her injured ACL or whatever. But anyway, they're very reliable. But they're facing against stars. currently only 2 women down, Yurihim, Momokogo, and Hanan. As you all know, Saida decided to take a break, while B Priestley also ended up on injury. Is out. But nothing too special about it. No storyline or anything. We have been seeing Hamavita Loca has been very effective, despite the fact they were 1 woman down and were able to defeat EXV. But with Stars, it doesn't make no difference with them, because in the end, it was Kurigani that picked up the win onto Yuri Him and with a submission, and just like that, Yuri just tapped out. Next up, we have Ane Kanaya, Ryan, and Waka Tsukiyama taking on God's Eye, consistent of Saki Kashima, Ami Sori, and Shuri. Now, of course, when it comes to God's Eye, you can tell that this is the much stronger part of the unit, of course, because Kashima will always be Kashima. Ami Sori has a bit of a powerhouse, and as for Shuri, well, she does have submission and striking capability, which is a definite plus. But unfortunately, Rian was the one who ended up on the wrong side of Ami Sori's Blue Thunder Bomb, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have Micah and India Siosis taking on Tabitha and Azuki. So, nothing too immediate special about this match. But obviously, the one thing that was interesting, it was India who picked up the win by pinfall onto Azuki using her own submission. But here's the interesting part. If you guys are fully remember, Azuki is the current CML Japan Women's Champion. I wouldn't be surprised if that's India's play. I know that this belt belongs to CMLL, and she actually works with CMLL, so it would make sense right there. Now, our next match, we had a very interesting, fun match that I think none of you want to miss out. We have Aya Sakura from Cosmic Angels teaming up with Azuki, Hanako, formerly of EXV, Miyu Amasaki of Neogenesis, and of course, Saudi Anu, another member of Cosmic Angels. Now, if you guys remember, not too long ago, um, Kisui Ninja Ranmaru showed up and asked all 4 of them to take part of an event in Osaka. And this is not your ordinary match. And she teams up with Hibiscus Me, Shin Sakura Iroda, and Miyuki Takase. Now, initially, this match ended faster, in like maybe less than 30 seconds, by Hanako by pinning Ranyamu. But however, Hibiscus put out a promo saying that they want this match to restart. But however, what no one didn't realize is the Shuri was on the other side, basically on Ranmaru's side the entire time, being her second. If you guys probably ask yourselves, yes, they know each other. This is prior before Shuri ever ended up in Stardom, and she pleaded for President Okada to, of course, restart the match, and that's exactly what happened. But what people don't know, her matches are really fun, Ranamu, because she applies the timeout. Basically, area just freeze, and she just moves people around without realizing what they were doing. But of course, there was a moment which Saudi Anu was attempting to do something, and Shuri just stepped in front of her, telling her, "No, don't hurt her, please, don't hurt her," because she had that expression. But of course, Shuri just went for it, and just like that. But unfortunately, it was, of course, Ranaro that picked up the win onto Saudi Anu, and just like that, it was completely over. And then we did see a post-match promo from them, so that's how things ended very well for them. Now, our main event, we have an interesting combination. Kyokyo Furuzawa and Maki Ito, who we all have been seeing recently teaming up. They team up with the Cosmic Angels, more specifically Sayaka Kurara, Yuna Mizumori, and Natsupoi, taking on Hate's very own Fukigen Death, Rina, Raka, Natsuko Tora, and Konami. Now, of course, when it comes to Hate, we know their usual tactics were they like to soften their opponent. But however, Kamitani got involved, but mostly attacking Kurara. If you guys remember recently, earlier this month in Osaka in Supreme Fight, Kurara issued the challenge. But what no one realized that before this event, Kamitani was promoting her autobiography. and she was demanding her match, but Kamitani did not want to give it to her, saying, "I beat you, girl. I don't need to do it again." But of course, Kurara is not going to give up that easily. But Kamitani intended to teach her a lesson. But unfortunately, she got involved on multiple occasions, but Kurara ended up on the wrong side of the Swanton bomb by Nasukotora, and just like that, it was over. But of course, we did see a post-match promo. Kamitani was telling Kurara, "Listen up, I don't have time for your crap, okay? I got an autobiography tour to worry about." So basically, she doesn't care about Kurara, but Kurara is not going to give up that easily. Because, of course, Kurara did say that I'm going to take everything from you, but we just don't know what. But we'll see what happens. So as of right now, we are done now with the Osaka event. Let's move on with the next one from them, and that happened the following day in Kobe. Okay, as we continue with more with Stardom, this time we're in Kobe, and this was at the Kobe Arts Center. This is their latest show, in case anybody asks. Now, we opened up with Rian and Waka Tsukiyama together. As you know, they were formerly of EXV, but they're always a stable team. But however, they're facing against Ane Kanaya and Yuna Mizumori. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they attempting to target Yuna Mizumori for obvious reasons. I know that Waka has a desire to challenge for the high speed belt, which she, of course, recently lost with the previous champion, which was Mei Seira. But unfortunately, that didn't happen because Ane Kanaya ended up on the wrong side of a suplex move by Rian, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have once again Kyoki Furuzawa and Maki Ito teaming up once again, but this time they're facing one of the tag teams in height. Of course, BMI 2000, Raka and Natsuko. Now, of course, obviously, these two teams faced each other in the match previously, and that's exactly what happened. But of course, I'm sure Maki Ito can handle toughness when it comes to hate, but I'm not sure if she can handle the kind of tactics that Hate does. But unfortunately, Furuzawa ended up on the wrong side of the freezer bomb by Raka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we got the full force of Neo Genesis, consistent of Miyu Amasaki, Mei Seira, Azumi, and Starlight Kid, taking on star members Yuta Him, Momokogo, and Hanan, but they're joined by, of course, Saki Kashima. Now, obviously, it's a very interesting pairing. I mean, Kashima, don't forget, guys, she used to be a member of Stars until she betrayed Mayu Iwatani back in 2020. But now she, as you all know, is in her final months before she hits her retirement. And of course, she was going to do her usual tricks, but unfortunately, she did not pick up the win or the loss. Got the loss. The person who picked up the win was Mei Seira when she applied like a somewhat of a jackknife onto Momokogo, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have a very interesting six-woman tag match. Akira Kurigani teams up with India Xiosis and Tabitha. So basically, she has two of the best CMLL women's talent involved. But however, she stands against the woman who should be facing for the future belt, Hanako, while she teams up with Azuki and her former teammate, Micah. Now, obviously, Micah and Hanako can get along very well, despite the fact that they're not in EXV anymore. But in the end, this match ended, of course, with Azuki applying a senton bomb onto India Xioxis. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Azuki picked up the win. But however, if you guys remember, in the previous day, India Xioxis actually picked up the win on Azuki, and basically she could issue a challenge for the CML Japan Women's title. And of course, Azuki hasn't forgotten. So from the post-match promo, it could tell that Azuki is acknowledging, yes, you beat me, you picked up the win, so by definition, right, you earned this shot. So that means I nominate you as my challenger. But the real question is, when or where? We don't know. I mean, it could happen anywhere. Could it happen in Mexico? Could it happen, of course, in Japan? Who knows? or probably in your mama's kitchen for all I care. But anyway, the fact of the matter, India Exiosis actually gets the title shot. But however, of course, we did see part of the post-match promo. Hanako and Kira Kuragani, as you know, they've been going back and forth with each other. And now Kuragani, as you know, um, people can declare that she was the one who single-handedly made the victory on Mi Vida Loca's behalf and defeating, of course, helping out to defeat EXV. I'm sure Hanako is not happy with that, but it is what it is. So we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have God's Eye members, Lady C and Hina. They take on Hate, Rina, and Konami. Now, this match, you can consider this as a preliminary match. As you all know, Hina issued a challenge for the white belt against Konami. But of course, not only that, she has her twin sister on the other side of her life, of course, and that is Rina. Don't forget, guys, Hina and Rina are twins. And of course, that's always been the case. But of course, we were going to see the usual hate tactics as we always seen. I mean, that's always been constantly their MO. But we did see Rian applied a distraction onto the ref. Konami uses the belt as to whack Hina, humiliate her even further. But however, Rina was the one who picked up the win when she applied the Pink Devil onto Lady C. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But of course, during the post-match, Konami, with that smug face of hers, gloats the fact that she lost again. But we're going to be seeing this back and forth, but we'll see where it leads us from there. Now, our main event, we have the Cosmic Angels, consistent, of course, of our current New Blood Tag Team Champions, Aya Sakura and Seiya Kurara. They team up with Natsupoi. They take on God's Eyes, Rane Agami, Amisuri, and Shuri. Now, one thing I did like about this match is that we saw a striking kicking contest between, of course, Sakura and Shuri. Now, if you guys remember clearly, these two ladies have teamed up. This is prior before Sakura was injured, before she even became a member of the Cosmic Angels. And they have that same kind of martial arts background. But also, she did another kicking competition with Yagami, which obviously was pretty cool. But however, it was Sakura who picked up the win when she applied a tiger suplex on Yagami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But during the post-match promos, it was in fact Sakura who had the privilege to close it, since she is the one who picked up the win for her team. So that's pretty much it. Now, I do know there is another Stardom show, but hopefully I do get a chance to see it. If not, I apologize. So we'll leave things as it is. But so right now, we're moving on to our last thing, which is going to be news updates. So let's get to it right now. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events. We only have 2 of them as we speak. We have DDT's upcoming event in March, which is called Judgment. It was announced that, of course, the Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita, will be making his return to DDT. Remember, guys, he still holds a contract with them and with New Japan and AEW. But he faces against Hazuki Hirata. If you guys don't remember him, he's the guy who wears those glasses and start dancing when you hear the song Tokyo. Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to work for him, but Takeshita, he's all business. But we'll see where that leads. And then finally, as you all know, we still continue to have more names being announced for the upcoming double show that will take place. As you all know, we have the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling double show that take place. One is their collaboration with Ring of Honor, Global Wars Canada, where they'll happen on the 27th, and the Uprising show on the 28th that just features them involved. It was announced that Rohan Raja will be participating. So that's pretty much it for that. Now on to some developments. It was later announced by Bodyslam.net. I'm not 100% sure if it's true or not. Sometimes they do have some small accuracy, but they're saying that, of course, because there is no general manager in WWE Evolve, as you all know, Stevie Turner left who was initially the prime minister, well, is now being told that Timothy Thatcher will be, of course, um, be taking the role as general manager as they move forward. Now we do know he's been taking um, coaching parts with the Evolve guys, so that pretty much we do know. So we'll see. Now, for those who know this, recently I went to see AEW this Saturday um, with my mom and brother. However, one of the things I have noticed, if you guys noticed, the Rascalz was in the main event taking on the FTR. But what I also noticed is the theme song they used. And I'm like, they had a different one when they first arrived at AEW, because the rule of thumb, you're not allowed to use whatever it was back then. Anything like the music or whatever down in TNA. But later they used it. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that the same thing that they used in TNA? However, Fightful Select reports that yes, it is the same one, but AEW has the license to allow to be part of it. Now, some people could question, why would you do that? Why would AEW do something like this? It's the obvious reasons. Now, not to compare them to Mina Shirakawa, but you guys will get the idea. If you guys remember, when Mina Shirakawa first came to AEW after she left Stardom, she had a different type of theme song. Now, of course, a lot of fans did not like that. They would have preferred the same theme song that she used from Stardom. But what people don't know is that this was the same one she used also when she was in Tokyo Pro Wrestling. So obviously, Tony Khan wants the theme song to be more familiarized with the fans who like it. And I think that's the same thing with the Rascalz. I mean, not to compare them, but the Rascalz theme was very well. It fits their personality better. So that's what I would think is the main reason. So hopefully we get more answers to that, but that's my only, of course, uneducated guess on that part. But we'll see. Now, as you all know, remember Zozaya. He was the wrestler you guys may have seen based out of Rev Pro and various other promotions throughout Europe. Well, as you all know, he ended up going with WWE, and he got a new name called Romeo Moreno. So that's pretty much the name that they announced. So yeah, so that's pretty much what we do know. Now, DDT has announced that they have two new signees. The first one, his name is Viento um, Miligi or something like that. But yes, and the other is a guy named Masami Inahura. But however, he went by Thunder Misahi. Originally, he came from, of course, GTO, Just Tap Out, which ironically I actually reviewed many of their shows recently that took place. But he is set to debut with DDT on March 22nd. I think that's, of course, yeah, it is. It's Judgment. So it's still unclear who will be his opponent. And then finally, of course, Fred Rosser, if you guys remember him, he was known as Darren Young, aka the Black John Cena, if you guys remember that clearly. Well, it's just been told that he's been helping out training Stephen Borden, or as many of you know him, as the son of Sting. Yes. Spoiler alert, he was in the Ring of Honor tapings at AEW Collision, and I was so happy to see that. But I'll explain more about him once I actually release the ROH live shows that I attended on AEW Collision. So be patient with me on that. But of course, Fred Rosser had this to say regarding about Stephen Borden. I have to say it really is. Let me put him up here. Here it is. This is what he said. I'm working with Sting's son, Stephen Borden, helping to groom him privately and holding him to becoming all that he creates to be inside the ring. He's working hard, doing some dark matches, getting some reps out in front of the crowd. That means a lot to me. So that's personal project that I'm trying to conquer. So yes, so he is trying to help him become a much better wrestler. I mean, being a wrestler is not easy, guys. I mean, I don't know what it's like, but I do hear stories. I mean, you have to build up your own. I mean, I know that probably Steven does not want to be like use his dad as part of his gimmick, but well, I'm gonna say this. He did use some kind of moves that, of course, his own father used back in the day, and I'll explain to you guys more. But yes, I'm glad that Fred Rosser is taking the time to train him, to groom him to become a much better wrestler. So that's pretty much it what we have. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I might have noticed that I missed out on day 2, day 3 of New Japan's Fantastic Mania, but also day 4 might happen too. So I may do the next episode all New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's the initial idea. But I don't know about the Stardom. We'll see how things will go. But I'm gonna focus mostly on the New Japan. But if I do have time with Stardom, then we'll go from there. So. Um, Not making any promises, but we'll see how things go. So if things go accordingly, we're good. If not, I apologize. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye and have a nice day. Bang.